Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Thank you very much if you're watching this either live or on the replay. As you guys know, this is the channel to help entrepreneurial moms and even dads be able to do more with their busy lives. How to create content and optimize it in terms of search engine optimization, voice search, and more. The big deal for this channel is to teach busy entrepreneur moms how to be omnichannel successfully in the year 2020 and moving forward. So, first thing I want to do is ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe down below. I'm in the midst of my 365-day live stream orbit to this YouTube channel, meaning you're going to get free content here for 365 days straight. Hey, Carmen, what's going on? Hey, Donna, thank you for joining me. Good morning. Here we go. Good morning, Carmen, and good morning, Transformational Healing by Donna. Please visit their channels. These are great ladies with some great products and services that you want to be able to check out. Okay, so I'm glad you guys joined me today. Today, we are going to be talking about how to create consistent content, whether it's for Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. My goodness, we have so much. So there's really basically, I'm going to say about 3 elements I want you to keep in mind. I'm going to go back and unpack from here with every successive day in this orbit. We're on day 7 of the 365-day live streams that I will be sending to this channel. And in the coming 2-3 weeks, we're also going to have the pre-produced videos come up and populate this channel by playlist as well. So make sure, whether I'm live streaming or not, you circle back around and you soak up all the freemium goodness I'm serving up to you. Okay, so when you're a busy entrepreneurial mom, if you're a dad watching this live or on the replay, read yourself in. But really, when you're a busy entrepreneur mom, it is tough enough with all the house, spouse, kid, worship, pets, plants, whatever kind of bootstrapping you're doing part-time to full-time to get this business of yours either launched or profitable persistently and consistently and more. It's hard enough to do all of that. And then you're like, and you want me to create consistent content and then post it and be all omni-channel, which means you're on multiple platforms simultaneously in a day. And as we continue to go through the 365-day live stream orbit, I'm going to be taking and examining various pieces to kind of help you get closer and closer to doing that, and then actually doing that and having a system to do it daily, weekly, monthly, and an annual planathon session or overhaul. So one baby step at a time. The first element is definitely to plan. Fail to plan, plan to fail. So I definitely want you, and depending upon who you are, how you learn, and how you like to do things, you could be doing it all digitally on a phone or a different device you're planning. You could be doing it in a planner. I mean, listen, I'm a Gen X mom, so definitely, I actually kind of like both. I straddle both. Whatever works for you, the actual system that you employ has to work for you. But you need to find some time. And we've discussed earlier on in this live stream orbit that I'm doing the concept of utilizing a power hour. And it can be utilized for a variety of things. So make sure you go visit that video if you haven't already. On the replay, I'm going to make sure that I throw a link to that particular live stream replay video so that you can check it out. But in short, even if you can't find a whole hour in one fell 60-minute swoop in a 24-hour period, you can break it up into 2 30-minute hemispheres depending upon your schedule, or 4 15-minute quads. You can fit it in a day. So whether you use this, or both, right? At least have, I would say, depending upon how like in the flow you are with your planning, I would like to see you dedicate most or all of every power hour for a good 3 days solid at least, so that you can plan out your content as we're sitting here in 2019 for 2020. So I would love to see you take, and I mean, it's easier for me to show in a planner and a print planner because there's not so much glare, right? So if you're using a device, that's cool too. But like, so you have the print planner and you've got all the days in front of you, right? So you need to look through, and I will be down the line hosting a planning sesh for 2020. And in that planning sesh, I'll have prompts already done for you guys to, if all else fails, you get a prompt every single day of the week throughout all of 2020, right? But if you want to do this on your own, you're welcome to do it. But like, get a planner, get it open, and just think, what is like one thing that I can post about every single day for all of, let's say, 2020. And if you're like, well, some of you who are like a content-based business might not have as hard of a time about it. So maybe you want to, have the focus of your posts, your blog, your podcast, your video / the videos you put to your YouTube, and then the social media posts that you post around. You might be like, okay, so if I keep things like really micro and nano, and I just plot it out one a day, one little snippet or tip or trick or life hack or something a day, yeah, you know what? It might take me a couple of planning sessions because or a couple of power hours to plan this out, because I might be totally like packed and productive for one power hour, but like the third day of doing this, I might start running dry. So that's okay. Give yourself some grace and space and you can do it. But what if you're not a content-based business? What if you're like, okay, I'm not content-based. I'm not selling digital downloads or courses. I'm not selling like services. So like Transformational Healing by Donna, for example, you might sit there and go, okay, what's everything that I could teach somebody intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, physically about transformational healing, that concept? And how can I shatter it out into like a little piece or tidbit or factoid or piece of like Trivial Pursuit or did you know sort of thing to kind of spread it out to plan the content for a year? But what if you're like, I'm none of those things. I'm a products-based business. I sell my stuff on Etsy through my own website or both. I sell it at craft fairs and, holiday bazaars and stuff. How does this help me, Stacey? Well, if you're a student of Renee Christine's, her YouTube channel has been renamed Cupcake Trainings because she's becoming more of like an agency for a whole bunch of us to work with her. I'm a joint venture partner of hers. Make sure you subscribe to Cupcake Trainings. Here we'll put subscribe to Cupcake Trainings YouTube channel, as well as mine, Stacey Storino, right? So, because Renee Christine is awesome. She's my mentor since 2016. So what I could tell you is if you're a student of hers and or you could have been or could be a student of hers and you're putting out, say, a 10-piece product line collection, and let's say you have a signature product line collection that all year long, like for the foreseeable future, that's your baseline collection. And let's say there's 10 pieces in it. And then, of course, you may or may not, from month to month or season to season or holiday to holiday, you might put out additional limited time product line collections. That could be 10-piece product line collections or more unto themselves that will run parallel with your regular everyday like signature product line collection, right? So you're like, okay, but how do I make content out of this? In some ways, it's really super easy. And then there's additional cool stuff that you guys can do too. So hold on. The first thing I would do is obviously when you're doing the regular marketing of these things, it's always good to have a picture of the whole collection to introduce the collection. So that might be one piece, that you plan out. Maybe you're not going to have a separate product line collection launch in January. Maybe you're going to just have your signature product line collection in January. Okay, there's 31 days in January, but day one really probably should be like a Happy New Year sort of thing. And always ask for engagement. Tomorrow I'm going to do the anatomy of a perfect social media post. So you always want to ask for engagement. That's one of the 6 elements of a perfectly executed social media post. Practically whatever the platform, this is what I would definitely encourage you to do. We're going to get into that tomorrow, so make sure you show up tomorrow live or on the replay. So you have a 10-piece product line collection after New Year's Day or January 1st. January 2nd, to me, in this example, oh, hi, Mom. In this example, January 2nd would be like introducing or reintroducing my signature product line collection. So that's 1 day's worth of content. You will have, like, say, photo of the whole collection. You could take a quick video snippet of the product line collection, right? And, the posts that you would do on Facebook and Instagram, those should be like micro posts talking about the collection, leading with a benefit-laden opening line. Because if you're just like, oh, this is my new product line collection, a lot of people might be like, yeah, okay, interesting, but who cares? I've got a bajillion things going on. But when you have a benefits-laden opening line that provides them a hook, it hooks them in to reading that content for that day. We're on January 2nd right now. They'll be like, oh, there's a benefit to me. It would solve a problem for me or problems for me. So, okay, now you've got my attention. Now I want to see either your new product line collection that you're launching in January, because some of you might do that, or if nothing else, your signature product line collection that you're relaunching fresh in January 2020. Okay, you gave me a benefits-laden opening line. You've hooked me in. I'll pay attention to that, right? So that's January 2nd. Then for the next 10 days in January, taking you through January 12th, every single day, let's just say your signature product line collection only has 10 pieces in it, right? Every single day would be a spotlight picture of that product. So for the next 10 days, everyone has a spotlight. But then I also teach my students to do solution set selling, to use the core plus 2 factor. So I'm going to be really quick about this. I'm not going to do a deep dive into core plus 2, but you would have like a core item or piece in your collection that might be the most popular one or have the biggest draw. It solves a problem or meets a need or desire really, really well. It might be the most expensive piece in the collection. It might not be. So, but usually it is. It doesn't have to be. So then you would do a solution set where that one core piece is in there, and then there should be 2 additional pieces that either coordinate well in a solution set to solve that one main problem or meet that one main need or desire of that student, of that ideal customer who's looking at your social media posts for that day, your content for that day, right? On all the platforms where you should be. You can't be everywhere, especially if you don't have a team to help you, but you know who your ideal customer is. So you know how many platforms you really should appear on. Like for lots of us, it'll be both Facebook and Instagram and YouTube as well. Google is the largest search engine for English-speaking people in the world, and YouTube is the second largest search engine for all English-speaking people in the world. And most of us, our target audience, maybe many things, but likely, not always, but likely, English is their primary language. And even if they're bi, tri, or quadlingual, English is going to be in there somewhere, right? So Google and YouTube are too important to miss out. That's why I always say you should have a blog on your own website. If you don't have your own website, it looks weird to people in today's day and age. It's way too late in the game for you to skate on by without a website. There should be a blog that's attached to that website so that you can properly harness Google SEO, so that over time, more and more people will discover your brand without you running any ads. Because especially when you're starting in the beginning, you're bootstrapping, right? And then YouTube, oh my goodness, you could make sales while you snooze. You could at least get people onto your email list by putting a link to your email list. Sign here to get a coupon for my next collection that's coming out, or my signature product line collection, right? Build your email list, get sales while you snooze, right? So every piece of content for every single day in 2020, let's say, is an entry point. It should always be attached to a link to get on your email list, get that coupon code. If they get that coupon code, they're going to shop, right? So think about it. For every day that you might skip in a given year that you don't put content out on the internet, on the platforms where your target audience is going to be, you miss the opportunity to grow your email list and or make a sale, don't you? So repetition is definitely the mother of skill, as Tony Robbins says. And today, it used to be people needed 7 to 10 times to be exposed to stuff, whether it's advertisements or to see your content in the feed before they really get attracted to your collection or to various items that you have or various sales that you throw. Now, studies are showing that there's so much input coming in. We all need to have like between 10 to 12 exposures, most of us, before we take action. So every single day in a year where you're putting out content is another way to grow your email list, attract more sales, and to increase the KLT factor, the know, like, and trust factor with your niche, your target audience, your ideal customer. So it's important that you plan out your content. So if you're a products line collection, you too can have daily posts, because once you've done all your spotlights, the next thing I would do is have everything shown in a couple of different variations of solution sets. So you might be rejuggling a couple of items in different pictures or different videos or whatever, but it's still an opportunity for you to put more points on the board every single day on all the platforms that you need to be on. So planning is critical. You can get through an entire month, because then if you're having a sale or a flash sale or a clearance sale, that's another, thing to plan in your calendar. You should be planning your promotions going forward. If you're going to put out a limited edition product line every month to run parallel, hey kiddo, my son's out, to run parallel with your signature product line collection, then there's even more easy things to post about every single month. So plan out your sales, plan out your clearance sales, plan out when you might have like special events or free shipping or an additional item with purchase. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, and you should mix it up. Different people like different things or are attracted to different things. Some people are just a sucker for free shipping, and nothing has to be on sale otherwise. So experiment. But the bottom line is you can get through a whole month products-based business just talking about your products and your product line collections, introducing them, individual spotlight posts per day, then all the solution sets that you can come up with, and then any sales, and then retiring that product line. You could get through all or most of a month every single month just by doing that. And then also, let's say there's a month where you're not going to be having a limited edition product line collection. That's okay. Still talk about your signature product line collection. Maybe you've thought of additional benefits and hooks for some or all of those pieces. So refeature them. There's so much stuff in all of our feeds. No one's living your business and your products like you are. Even your super fans never live your business and your product like you are or you do. So you're not boring anybody by, even every month highlighting your signature product line collection. But you could also talk about, show posts about, and videos about how it's made, featuring the materials that you make your products from. Transformational Healing by Donna, it could be like the oils or, the tinctures, the tonics, the supplements, techniques that you use for, maybe joint manipulation, Reiki, the history of Reiki. I mean, I could sit there and plan out content for y'all, and so can you. You know your craft better than me. Do you know knitting? Let's talk about different types of wool, different types of way that wool is dyed, quilting techniques. You could feature tools. You could talk about how you do things the old-fashioned way. Yours is more from scratch than a competitor's. I promise you, when it comes to planning out content, if you give yourself enough power hours each day and throughout the week, you too can, over time, even if it's not in 1, 2, 3 sessions, you could at least plan a week ahead, a month ahead, if it's too overwhelming to do a whole year for you. Some people, you can get through all or most of the year. You do you. Some people are like, I don't want to get behind the 8 ball trying to do this stuff from scratch every day, so I will plan a week at a time or a month at a time. You do you. There's no one right, perfect way to do pretty much anything. So don't get all stressy about what you're doing versus what someone else is doing or not doing. Stay in your own lane, run your own race, plan. So that's number one. The other 2 points go a lot faster. So the second point that I would make is leverage auto posters. So say you're only planning a week's worth of content in advance. You've got it all plotted out, one or both of these ways. You feel really good about it. Okay, so for the day of, if you're sitting in the day of, in the month of the week rather, that you're going to plan, you're going to have to hustle up and get everything up that day. But you could at least do a photo shoot of all your products together in solution sets and then individually, and you could take all those images and just time lapse them out 7, or in this example, maybe 10 days ahead. And you could use an auto poster like Hootsuite. You can use Hootsuite for almost everything. If you're going to auto post in Facebook, I would advise you to use their onboard auto poster built into Facebook, native to Facebook, because if you use anything, not just Hootsuite, but anything else to post to Facebook, pages, groups, whatever, you get penalized algorithmic reach. You might still get reach on that page or in that group, but it's going to be dumbed down because, Zuckerberg hates anything that isn't Facebook. He's even coming up with his own currency as we speak. I'm not kidding. It's called Libra. And the programming that will create and allow for a platform for that currency is called Calibra. Go look it up. It's really either awesome or scary, depending upon where you stand on things like that. But anyway, so definitely use the onboard scheduler or auto poster for Facebook. So that's what I do. And then I like Hootsuite for practically everything else. And I'm definitely checking out multiple features. You can post to Instagram through Hootsuite. You can auto post, but there's also Planoly and Later. Those are like the 2 other big ones for Instagram. So depending upon how much of a deep dive you want to get into Instagram with IGTV and stories and regular posts to the feed, etc., you may want to use one of those more dialed in Instagram specific, auto posters as well. But if you're just putting your foot in the water and you're just getting used to the concept of using auto posters other than Facebook, where you're going to use the onboard one, maybe Hootsuite or something like that. I've heard people use Buffer. I've used Hootsuite for years. I really haven't had a problem. I'm not an affiliate for it, so don't worry about that. So auto posting and preparing as far in advance with your materials as possible, doing those big photo shoots, taking all that raw video and all that stuff as far out in advance as you can comfortably plan and then, execute on and then stuff into an auto poster, that helps you. Finally, you want to, as much as possible, optimize for or prepare for those posts. Depending upon what kind of auto poster system you're using, you may be able to store a lot of this stuff and just kind of press play when you're ready to make it live, or it's just auto scheduled and poof, it'll deploy. It depends, but what kind of extra stuff am I talking about? Hashtags. Plan out your hashtags for Twitter. You won't get too many in there given the 280 character limit, but you might be able to fit 1, 2, or 3 hashtags in there. Use all of your characters in Twitter. And on Instagram, you are allowed 30 hashtags total for post, no matter where you stuff them or stick them, even if you use one in a sticker. But that's okay. Let's talk about 30 all at once in a block. Use all 30 hashtags. Those are 30 different entry points that can organically draw more traffic to you. To just pop out 1, 2, 3, 10 hashtags on Instagram, It's not only lazy, unfortunately, it's foolish because you just missed additional entry points for that one post to optimize that post. So just like I say, in a 365-day year, it's important for you to get content out every day. And if you use an auto poster, you can just spray content across multiple platforms very, very quickly. But wherever you've got hashtags, on Twitter, it might be only 1, 2, or 3, but those are additional entry points for people who aren't following you already to discover you in search. They search on terms and hashtags on Twitter and on Instagram. Those two social media platforms are increasingly powerful search engines. You have to leverage them. Transformational Healing by Donna says, with a product-based business, what % of your posts should be salesy? I aim for no more than 30% products and sales. The rest being fun, information, interactive stuff, etc. That to me is like a very perfect blend. I've heard it and done it a bunch of different ways. 70-30 is good. I wouldn't do more than that. When you're doing your product spotlight pictures or your collection pictures, announcing, retiring, and your solution set pictures. The solution set picture, I mean, this is all just sharing information and sharing benefits. You don't have to put in words like shop now. You could just say see link in bio for, to save 20% or whatever on, say, Instagram or something like that. You're sharing information, you're informing. You could ask people to share input, or did they learn something about that product or process? When you're sharing behind the scenes, making of, how to know when you're shopping for this product, whether this one is better than that one. I actually, on Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, for example, I have a video about soft serve ice cream tips and tricks. It's got hundreds of views on it, and it's not necessarily come just shop at Joe's. It's like, how do you know your soft serve ice cream is being given to you by a vendor that's yucky? Everybody, if it's got a yellow cast or tinge or hue to it and it's not French vanilla, that's one way. If it is riddled with ice crystals in it, no good. It's stale. And if it's ice crystally and too stiff, the beaters have beaten up that product for way too long. So that stuff is not your highest, best quality ice cream. Notice in that video, I'm not always buy from Joe's. I'm giving tips and tricks. So you can definitely introduce products and discuss them and what's cool about them, but not be you have to buy it now. But I also sharing fun stuff, interactive stuff, polls, comment down below and share with me your best tips and tricks about whatever. Did you learn something today? Stuff like that. You always want interactivity. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow when it comes to the 6 elements of a perfect post. So yes, I would make it more about entertainment and edutainment, where you're wrapping up, this is my product, this is all the cool stuff about it. But it's not buy, and then once every, I've heard it this way too, that for every 10 posts that you do, only maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 of them max should be, about a sale, about a clearance sale, about free shipping and stuff like that. So yes, I do think the 70-30 is a very healthy split. But if you're every 1 out of whatever makes sense to me, then 1, 2, or 3 out of every 10 posts, which basically works out to be almost the same thing. Are quote cards good to share? I mean, if you like quote cards and you know that your niche adores that stuff too, sure. This comes down to tracking your niche and understanding about them and doing a deep dive into what makes your niche tick. And that's going to be another day of the 365-day orbit. But say you happen to know just from your research and you're really spending some quality time with customers and followers over days, weeks, months, years. If you're going to other places that they hang out and they're sharing quote cards and or you see a ton of engagement in quote cards, Yeah, quote cards are good for you. They're not necessarily stale for use. And if you're putting out 1 or 2 quote cards a month and it gets good engagement from your people, don't feel bad. Like, nothing's stale or wrong unless it's stale or wrong for your niche. Transformational Healing by Donna says, perfect. Thanks, Stacey. That's exactly what I try to do. And I'm including the education about a product in that 30%. Absolutely. If you feel better about pairing get this item now, it's 20% off today. I'm having a flash sale, or, limited numbers of this in stock. This was a popular item. I'm launching another product line collection next month, so this is it. You can be informational that way. You can be informational about how it's made, and then you can wrap up and ask in that too. When you lead with a benefit to hook the person in, and then you're giving them information, entertainment, or edutainment, if you will, and then you put an ask in, then it's not necessarily all buy my stuff. My stuff's on sale. My stuff comes in green. You don't want to always just be about your stuff too. So that's why I say put stuff about the process, the tools, the steps, the materials, the history. Like, people dig that kind of stuff. You think they don't, they really do. So that should give you hopefully a lot of advice about planning for, if you can only do a week ahead because that's too much, otherwise fine, or a month ahead, okay, fine, or a business quarter ahead, I didn't say that, or a whole year, if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. But fail to plan to fail. We don't want your businesses to fail. So like I said, tomorrow, make sure that you check in with me. It'll be day 8 on my 365-day live stream orbit, and we will be discussing the 6 elements of a perfect social media post, no matter where it is. And as this orbit continues, you will learn more and more over time about how to leverage multiple auto posters and how to be multiple places in multiple times and to be truly omni-channel, because that's going to help you pull ahead of the pack and odds are be more likely to be more successful than your competitors in 2020. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.